Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Neese Media studio. It is your boy Wydoe. I am here with Mr. Larry Neese, and we've got a special guest, don't we, Larry?
We do. We have Mrs. Sandy Donovan from BNI-South Florida.
Wow. How are you doing, Miss Sandy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's great to see you here. And first and foremost, what is BNI?
BNI is the world's largest networking organization. So I'm actually the franchise owner for BNI-South Florida, which encompasses Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Okeechobee counties.
Wow. And is this an acronym? What does BNI stand for?
Business Network International.
Wow. And I believe Larry Neese is a proud member of BNI. Is this true, Larry?
So, yeah, I've been a member for a little over 11 years, and a good friend of mine that I watched go through the housing crash, his name was Scott Kammeyer. I don't know if you remember Scott.
Of course I remember Scott. Yep.
He was booming when the housing industry was bad. I got my license, and he was on me from day one. As soon as he found out I started a company, he's like, you got to come to BNI, you got to come to BNI. And I was kind of fresh. I worked in construction, worked in roofing most of my life. Never was a networking guy, never was a social bug. I always was in offices, pushing computers, pushing statistics and schedules and, and data points of everything that was going on in projects. I never really got to spend much time, getting to develop relationships in business. It was usually suppliers, engineers, building departments, and inspectors. That was my life.
Right.
And I joined. It was 6 months later. I joined. I had 2 employees, 1 truck plus a little sales truck. And I joined, and Sandy took me under her wing. And now we are 11 years in. It's been the best thing ever happened to my business and to my networking life.
Wow. You got to love that. Now, obviously, we are live from the Larry Neese Roofing Studio, the Media Center. Okay, live from Fort Pierce, Florida. Miss Sandy, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Westchester County, New York, and then moved down here to go to college. I went to the University of Miami. And after that, I've been here ever since.
Wow,
so
you gotta love it. One thing I always like to ask business owners and just grown adults, what did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a little girl? Did you always want to be the BNI chapter leader?
There was no BNI when I was that little. So I'm going to go with, I always wanted to be a, kind of like what they do on the Today Show. I wanted to be like one of the anchors on the Today Show.
Right.
And here you are in our studio.
I know, right? This is when it happens. So, that's kind of what I was really interested in, and fashion, both of those two things.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how did you discover BNI?
So I was kind of looking, after college, I kind of went from a few different jobs, and I couldn't really find anything that I was passionate about. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just not going to be passionate about anything. And my father, who is an entrepreneur, was up visiting my brother, and my brother has a BNI region in New York. So he said, why don't you come to a meeting with me? So my dad went with him, and he watched how a meeting operated and saw the referrals being passed and was mesmerized by it. So on the drive back, he said, this is amazing. He said, I wish we had something like this when I was in business. And so he asked my brother, do they have one of these down in Florida? So my brother kind of looked into it for him, and my dad purchased it. So he bought the first region, which was Palm Beach County, thinking that my sister would run it because she's in sales as well. And so we were sitting at the dinner table one night, not the dinner table, we went out for dinner, and I'm sitting down at like the other end of the table, and he starts talking to my sister about it, and he's really pitching the idea, and she basically looks at him and says, I love what I do. I'm a sales trainer. I love my business. And so you could see his face was just, he was deflated. And I'm at the end of the table going, I would like that. Yeah. I would enjoy that. So that's kind of how that ended up happening. I sort of inserted myself into what he had as a sort of a preordained dream.
Wow.
And and the rest is history. So this is my 30th year.
30th year. Congratulations on
Thanks.
that. And Larry, how did you discover BNI?
So like I said, my friend Scott brought me in, forced me really. I mean, it was funny. He called me enough to where he was like, it was relentless till I finally gave in. I'm like, I'm going to join, or I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I went for the first meeting. He's like, you can come for 2 meetings for free, get to learn the people and everything. I was so nervous giving my first commercial. I mean, I was like terrified, I've got palpitations.
I can't picture that at all.
Oh yeah, it was really bad palpitations. I was having panic attacks, and I went immediately and got an EKG after my first one. I thought there was something wrong.
Wow.
But I went to the second meeting, and I really started to understand a little bit more about how this could. I didn't really understand it. I saw in my mind, I'm like, this can help me as this new business owner. Even though I was 44 years old, I'm a late starter. Started at 44, and I said, this could probably help me a lot. And even until today, on the BNI app, just for me, my sons are all members of their own chapters now.
Yep.
My app, I think, is $1.6 million. When we take and track everything that's happened with BNI since I joined 11 years ago, it's probably close to $8 million right now in total revenues. That's second, third, and fourth level business. There's some customers that I got where I got one at BNI, turned into another customer that was not part of BNI that I ended up doing 15 jobs for. I got a referral from my last chapter, Dollars and Cents, which Derek is the president of now.
Yep.
We got a lead from our insurance guy from a customer in California or Nebraska. We'd never met him. Signed a $178,000 roof, and then ended up doing like 2 or 3 more houses in the same neighborhood afterwards.
Wow.
But we never met the guy until we were wrapping up the job. We started it, finished it, did everything through mail, and it was a huge house, big 2-story house, aluminum standing seam, unbelievable home. Then we ended up doing a bunch of neighbors and working in the community. It was crazy, but that's how BNI, the trust level and the relationship level, allowed us to do business with. I think he was another BNI member himself in Nebraska.
That wouldn't surprise me.
We never met each other, did business, and finished up, and then he gave us the rights to go hunt on his property and Nebraska
Bonus.
and all kind of stuff. Yeah,
Let's go. Let's go. You see it.
Let's go. That's right.
Bambi.
And to me, that's awesome to see, BNI for people, the lamest guy like me. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like a really great group that business owners are now in. So I'd like to ask you, Sandy, is BNI something that you have to, you pay to get in, you pay to try out, or do you bring people in and recruit them?
So when we start a new chapter, we usually start with a core group of kind of main professions, but the idea of BNI is that there's no duplicates. So when you join a BNI chapter, you won't have any of your competitors in the room because you lock that out.
Gotcha.
So the idea is that you join, you are there every week to teach the other people what to look for, what to listen for in their day-to-day lives, because we're kind of all standing in the middle of referrals for one another. And the trick is to learn how to recognize that.
Gotcha.
So, we have people come to a meeting up to 2 times before they make a decision, because we want them to see the referrals being passed and meet the members and see the relationships in action and the camaraderie that really builds over time. And Larry's, he's been in for 11 years. I have some members that are practically celebrating the same anniversary as I am.
Wow.
28 years, 29 years in BNI, and that's a testament to how well they do. So they, if you decide to join, there's a membership fee, annual fee that you pay, and really for a lot of people, depending on the type of business that you're in, that's paid for with 1 or 2 referrals.
Right.
So it's kind of nice, it usually ends up paying for itself. And then the relationships that are built, we have so many members that have been in each other's lives through really landmark things, weddings and graduations and trips, and they've become very, very close. And even for the few members that have left, they still send referrals and they still get together. And it's kind of nice to see that this thing that started with me and 3 people around a table in 1996 is now, kind of a very self-sustaining business. And the fact that what I do for a living has such a positive impact on other people and their businesses that's what I'm passionate about. I love it. Yeah.
Love that. Now, Larry, I want to ask you, as a business owner yourself, obviously you do a lot of meetings with your staff, with your employees, safety meetings. Everyone in business understands and might not look forward to all these meetings, but do you look forward to a BNI meeting each week?
So in BNI, it's different than a lot of networking. Most networking tends to be transactional. You get together, anybody can show up. People are passing business cards. They're trying to see, how fast they can make some kind of connection that might give them something. BNI is relational, so you're not really there for a transaction. You're really there to help the other person. I am the salesperson for these 25 other members in my chapter. I'm their sales guy. It comes into giver's gain. I was telling you about it earlier. It's the philosophy. If my intentions are to figure out what's your best customer, and how I can keep my ears and my eyes open, like you were saying, then I'll be able to give you a good quality referral. And we don't give them just for any reason at all. We develop the relationship. I've got to know that I can trust you. Sandy's got to know if she can trust me before she hires me to do her carpet cleaning. And usually the way we do that is we test out our other members. So Sandy's the carpet cleaner. I say, Sandy, I'd like you to do my carpets. She does a great job. The next thing you know, I'm scheduling her for every quarter with her carpet cleaning company, and I'm referring her to other people because they're like, man, your carpets look great. But it is relational, and you develop a lot of loyalty in there because these people are doing the same thing for you. They're looking at you going, you used me, I've used you, and we just have a relationship that's not like anybody else. It's very non-transactional. It really becomes 100% relational. And instead of being a bunch of empty buckets out trying to fill each other, you end up where you've got the best of the best. You're a full cup trying to fill my full cup. And it's a whole different. It's a whole different program. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's why we're in 3 different chapters.
Wow. Now, Sandy, obviously you mentioned 30 years you've been doing this. What have you learned about business after your time with BNI so far?
I think there are so many businesses that, it's really not taught anywhere. Actually, I do believe that networking is just now starting to be taught in some choice universities, but it's such a key thing to really understand how to do it, and that's education is huge for us. So I think I've learned that there are so many businesses that. It's funny when you were talking about it's not transactional. There was a presentation that I did a long time ago, and the term that we used was premature solicitation is what we call it. Premature solicitation. Perfect. So it's you're trying to solicit somebody before you've established any, forget relationship, but really any interaction that's meaningful. So, somebody doesn't go to a networking event wanting to purchase anything, right? They're not going there to buy. They're going there to, hopefully make new connections and build their own business. Yeah, exactly. So, I think learning and teaching people is such a key part for most businesses. And that's really what we teach the most at BNI is how we completely shift how we look at the world. So we teach people what to look for when they're out there, and that seeing is a skill or is an ability, but really looking for something is that's a skill, right? Hearing is an ability, but listening is a skill. So we're trying to fine tune those skills so that when we are in those day-to-day interactions, it goes from being happenstance to stumble across a referral to starting to really recognize it.
Gotcha.
And the best example I can give you is, I bought a new car, a few years back, and when I drove off the lot, it was a white BMW 330, and I drove down the road and I saw another one. And I went, oh, there's one right now, right? And I drove down a little further, and oh, there's another one. And I pulled up to a stoplight, and there's another one. And, the thing that we have to keep in mind is they were always there, but I never noticed them before. I never had a reason to notice them. So that's really what we're trying to do in BNI is give one another the information that we need so that things that we're normally walking past without recognition, all of a sudden it's resonating and it's clicking in our brains, and that's how we say that's a good referral for one of my BNI members.
Wow, Larry, I want to ask you. Just mentioned a little earlier that your sons are in different chapters as well. Do you look at BNI as a secret meeting that you can't tell anybody about because this is your private thing that this is why we're exclusive, or is it something that you invite other business owners to?
No, so we invite a lot of people. It is and you can go shout it on the mountain. It's that kind of place. We want everybody to come. Not everybody's a good fit for BNI.
True.
There's a certain level of discipline. There's a certain level of patience you're going to have. Your first year in BNI, and I try to tell this to any new members coming in, your first year, build your relationships. Don't expect a lot. Try to give a lot. Try to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And your second year is really where you will start gaining some traction. To me, that's the way that I think that I look at it as, is you build the relationships, you make these connections, and you learn your members. You have average groups, 21, 22 members, maybe 23 members, whatever they are. In 12 months, that's only gives you every 2 weeks. You've got to be having some time with somebody. I mean, in 12 months, you've only got 2 weeks, per month. Every other week, you've got to meet with somebody to really get to learn them.
Yeah.
And it takes some time, and I always, and BNI school for me is, I always do our one-to-ones where I want to learn about you the first time. We sit down. I don't want to tell you about me. Let me learn about you.
Yeah.
And then we'll schedule another one. And then that time, then I'd like to tell you about me, or vice versa, whoever's the one initiating the one-to-one or the meeting is really, I want to learn about you.
Yeah.
BNI's funny too. I'll tell you one thing that's happened and it astonishes people. When I go to BNI, we have a business card binder that gets passed around. It's for members only to put in. It's for any visitors to take out if they want some. But I haven't carried a business card in about 6 years. I won't carry one. So when I go to other networking functions, they'll come up to me and go, "Do you have a card?" And I'll say, "No, I didn't really come here to do business. I just came here to meet people and meet like minds." And
I love that.
I haven't carried a business card in about 6 years, and it drives people crazy.
Wow.
But it really opens up the door to go, "Listen, I'm not here to solicit business to you. I'm here to learn about you. I'd really like to invite you to my BNI chapter to see if you'd be a great fit for us."
Yes.
Because they're out looking for something. BNI has something really good for most serious entrepreneurs that put their mind into it. They can see some big numbers.
Yeah. Very true.
That. I want to ask both you guys. Obviously, there's 40 plus years of BNI service up on this stage.
Yeah.
Sandy's got 30 years. Larry's been in for 11. After all the time that you guys have been a part of BNI, do you still learn today moving forward, each meeting?
Oh, yeah. I think, I've learned a lot to be able to pass on, but I'm still always learning, especially from not just my members, but also from other executive directors in other regions. There's always more to learn. And I think we'd get bored in life if we didn't have that.
I think that with the change of, especially coming through COVID, so pre-COVID, and then you had COVID, and now we're kind of in this, the markets are exploded, everything's booming again from where we had the housing crash. It actually changes the way BNI functions. People change in their behaviors and their habits, which really means they change their business models.
Yeah.
So you've really got to be constantly regrouping just with the members in your group all the time, because they're going through changes. They're having grandchildren.
Yeah.
They're having children. They're opening another different locations.
Yeah.
So the needs change in the members, it almost never ends.
Wow. And I believe Larry mentioned earlier that this is a global organization. Is that correct?
It is. Yeah. We are in every populated continent. And we have, I think initially it started out in the US, and then we went to Canada. And then from there, we went to the UK, but it took time. It was very, when I first started in 96, BNI had just started in 1985. So we were only 11 years in. And BNI it was just this slow and steady turtle, right? Just slow and steady moving forward. And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And my region was almost a microcosm of what was happening to BNI worldwide. So, in spite of, regardless of what I did, just more and more people kept finding out about it. More and more people kept coming. More and more people kept wanting to join chapters, and they kept opening. And so while my region was growing, BNI was exploding all over the world as well. So it was kind of an exciting thing to watch. It was sort of dual happening at the same time.
Wow. Larry, for you, would you say, what's the biggest thing that you get out of BNI? Would it be more jobs and money and jobs, or is it the relations that you get with the people?
So it's an interesting question. So it kind of changes in seasons. So it's almost a steady stream of income. It seems like every year our amount of leads and our amount of business are either similar or slightly growing. So it's very consistent because you have pretty much the same members all the time.
Yeah.
So you tend to stay very similar. Dollar amounts may change, but the amount of jobs and referrals tend to be about the same every year. But I would tell you our business acumen grows. BNI has the biggest plethora of business learning tools and business learning curriculum and podcasts and you name it. They've got it, reading and periodicals. And I mean, there's just stuff everywhere. Plus you have Dr. Ivan Meisner,
Brilliant.
who has so many podcasts. His books are amazing. Giver's Game, which is the foundation, is probably the best book. I mean, I'd recommend anybody to read it, whether you're a BNI member or not.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just that good. We were just reading some of it last week for our education moment. We've been in, it was Vanessa Caniglio.
Oh, yeah.
Used it for part of our education on Visitors Day, which is coming up for us April the 1st.
Yes.
And she was reading about the guy with the light bulbs for the commercial. You know,
So
it's
funny.
a great story.
It is.
It just lets you know anything can happen, and you just got to step out in faith and do a little bit of stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
And not let people discourage you. So there's just all of this stuff. I mean, anybody who wants to grow in business, if you've never been to college, you don't have the education, you want to be educated, join a BNI chapter, and then dig into what the investment that you put in has available for you. It's actually a way bigger value than what BNI cost.
Wow. For both of you guys, I want to ask, if I was a new member that just joined BNI, what would my feelings be like before my first meeting? Am I intimidated? Am I nervous? Am I looking forward to it? Because there's guys like Larry Neese that are at this meeting. So how would I feel if this was my first time, Sandy?
It depends on how used to networking you are in general. But what I would really say is that the most common things that we hear are most people are a little bit intimidated. A lot of people, their biggest fear is, as it is with everybody, is speaking in front of people, public speaking. So some are intimidated by that. And it's kind of an amazing thing to watch the evolution of a member when they go from being a visitor at the beginning and observing the meeting to when they join and their first couple of months of being in it, and watching them evolve from, I don't like getting up and speaking in front of people, to 6 months into a year in, you can't get them to sit down. So it really shows you the comfort level that develops as those relationships are built, and the encouragement that you feel and the warmth you feel in the room from the members that just kind of gives you a little bit more of that boost of confidence. And sort of simultaneously, your level of anxiety goes down with all of those things. So you're not afraid of public speaking anymore, and it makes you more comfortable, not just in your BNI chapter, but also when you are out and about networking in any setting. It brings a comfort level to that as well.
Wow. For someone that's been here 30 years, and you are the head honcho pretty much of our region, as you call it, does it still feel like work to you?
It has never felt like work to me. And it's funny, after my brother and I were talking about this, because I will get my 30-year pin at the upcoming conference. And I said to him, I still, after all this time, I can't imagine doing anything else. I still love it. I would say as much today as when I first started. And I don't think a lot of people are blessed like that to be able to say that. So I don't take it for granted. I love it.
Wow. Larry, I want to ask, a lot of people go to you for advice. A lot of people learn from you. You are the standard of great roofing here in the Treasure Coast area. Happiness is in a Neese roof. Is there anything that you learn from BNI meetings, other members, other chapters? Anything that you learn, Larry?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of things to learn. One of the funniest things to learn is I thought that I was Captain BNI for a long time. I was like, I love it. I just ate it, drank it, slept it. And about 7 years ago, my son Derek came to work for me, and I put him in a chapter. And I said, you're going to go do this BNI thing. And I think he'd subbed for Scott Kammerer a few times because he worked for Scott a little bit. I think he went subbed for Scott. Didn't do it all the time, but he did have a public speaking. He won state public speaking when he was in FFA. And and he was the spokesman for FFA for St. Lucie County when he was in high school.
Oh, wow.
For the county. And so he always had a little bit of an edge, but I had no idea that I would stick my son. He came home, he won the best commercial of the day his first day there.
No.
And had never done one for my company. He'd done it for an air conditioning company he worked for. And then he became a president of a chapter a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And then I actually left a chapter. He went to my chapter, became president a month later.
Yep.
And now he's one of her regional directors for SDCs. And he may love it more than I do. I'm just telling you. He may actually be Mr. BNI more than I am.
He does love it.
He does. Oh, yeah.
That is awesome. Now, I've heard a couple little key words that you guys keep mentioning. I have no clue about BNI. I'm not a member, clearly. But what is a commercial? I keep hearing you guys say. Is that a presentation?
So that's basically your little education piece that you give. So it lasts for 60 seconds in most chapters. If it's a really large chapter, the average chapter in my region is around 30 members. And but I do have a couple that are high 40s to 60. So in those chapters, they'll make them a little shorter. But the idea is, when we were talking a little bit earlier about how your role really is to train and educate those people each week what to look for and what to listen for. And so that's really the objective of giving. Each member gives a 60-second commercial each week. And they use that to discuss and to educate the people in the room what a good referral is for them and what kind of referral they're focusing on that week. Because you don't want to say the same thing every week. The idea is to educate them. You know, if there's not just one type of customer that comes for a Neese roof, right? True. There's some commercial. Derek was talking about airports today, which I never even thought about that, so you have different categories of clients that are great clients that you would love to duplicate. And the idea is that each week you're going to try to focus on a different type of client so that every week you're hitting a different type of member.
Right. Well, Larry Neese, I want to ask you, I'm pretty sure he's a president of his chapter right now. Can you speak about the differences and how it felt for you being a president of a chapter and just a normal member?
So that's kind of a loaded question. So being a president is great. Don't get me wrong in directing. But I will tell you, sometimes just being a member and being able to support the chapter, especially new members, and just being a mentor coming in, sometimes you can focus a little more time on the new members and mentoring them. So there's probably just as much gratification as being the president. Actually, being the vice president is probably the most work.
Yep.
And the membership committee probably has the most control of the chapter if you have it. So there's a lot of leadership in BNI, and a lot of times it's the first time anybody's ever served in any kind of a leadership structure. So they get in there and it lets them be able to learn what it's like to function in a board or something, because then you grow into other things. I mean, BNI, the first place I ever served at was BNI as far as a position. And now I'm on the Planning and Zoning Board for St. Lucie County. I serve as board of director member for the St. Lucie County Boys and Girls Club. And I've been on numerous boards over the last few years, but I'd never been one before I was in BNI.
That's crazy. Wow. It's so natural for you.
Sure.
I'm surprised.
Not really, but it's a learned function. I mean, before I was a hardcore worker. I farmed for 20 years before I moved to the Treasure Coast. And
amazing.
I was just a different kind of, I was a different kind of being. But grateful that I found BNI and it did so much for our business. And my kids, it's developed them beautifully.
Oh, that's so great.
Sure.
If you had to give one message to someone who was on the fence about joining a BNI group, what would you tell them who was not sure if they should join, if it's for them?
It's funny. I will have people that'll call and say, do you think this would be good for my business? And my rule of thumb is I don't try to sell people on it. I tell them, I think you need to come and visit a chapter meeting. You know your business much better than I do. So I think you need to come and see what we do here. And by the end of the meeting, your gut is going to tell you whether or not this is good for your business or not. And for some people, they're going to stand up at the end of the meeting and say, there's no way I'm not going to be part of this. And for other people, they might not see it. And that's where the 80-20 is, right? So I try not to sell it. I actually don't sell it. I almost try to tell people it might not be for you, right? But we welcome you to come and see what you think, because I think that's really, I'm not trying to sell somebody on BNI that it might not be right for whatever reason. Maybe it's just not there. Maybe they're more inclined for more casual networking than that. So I think our gut is our best salesperson. I think when we walk in somewhere and it resonates and we feel comfortable and welcomed and it really feels like you just walked in and you can see the value in it, that's what sells them.
What I think is really cool, it sounds to me like, if you're in a BNI chapter and if I'm a plumber with Larry Neese, if I'm out there at the mall and someone's asking me about a roof, immediately I have my guy, Larry Neese. He's my guy. Same thing. He's going to refer me. So I think it's really cool to have like an index of close people that are in your chapter that you get to refer. I want to ask him one of the questions I always love to ask business owners, Sandy. If you could describe me a great day and a difficult day as the president of the region of BNI, what would you describe it?
A great day is probably, I can't believe I'm saying this, but visitor day season, which we're in the middle of right now, is so hectic and crazy because we're going to do events at every single chapter in a window of 2 months. So it's a little bit of a blur, and it's exhausting, but it's exhilarating at the same time. So the great day is that I get to see all of my members. It's almost like a little reunion every time I see them, and I really, truly enjoy them. So it's just fun for me. A difficult day is when, it's funny. I had a decision that I made probably about 6 or 8 months ago, and it didn't work out as I hoped it would. So it's dealing kind of with the realization that, sometimes it doesn't go the way that you plan, even though you have the best of intentions. So I would say dealing with members that are, maybe expressing some frustration, or are, maybe somebody that had a bad experience at a chapter visit, can be difficult. And I love the ability to be able to turn that around for someone. So we had a guy call the other day and leave me a message. I didn't know who he was. He went to go visit a chapter, and he, this rarely happens at a BNI meeting, but his interactions at the beginning weren't as positive, and he wanted to let me know what his experience was. And I invited him the very next day to come and meet me at a visitor's day that I was going to be at. And he did come, which I was grateful that he, indulged me. And he had the best time. And it was such a great meeting. And they all just, nobody was in on it either. They didn't know. But he sat at my table, and by the end of it, he was like, "This is amazing." He's like, "I'm so glad that I came, because I never would have walked away having this kind of feeling had you not encouraged me." So sometimes if we can turn those rough days into a good way to recoup, that's a gratifying feeling.
This is a fun one I have. You've mentioned different chapters, and your sons are in different chapters. So is it like a team thing where, hey, we're this chapter, that chapter's cool, we're all BNI, but is it a competitive thing per chapter, or is everybody on the same team?
Oh, God. I mean, so I have 2 sons that are in competing chapters with me locally. So, yeah, we're very competitive. And even though BNI has 1 member of each classification per chapter, it's kind of neat. So my sons and I are all in different chapters, and we even have socials where we have all 3 chapters get together for socials.
Yeah.
And the animosities, and it's funny, some of the members from the chapters in my son's chapters are ex-employees or ex-bosses of people in my chapters. Now they've got competing companies.
Oh, wow.
And we show up to like Duffy's for bowling, or we'll go to Dave and Buster's for a social, we'll do something.
Yeah.
And they're hanging out, they're talking,
Yeah.
they're excited about each other's life. There's a competitiveness, but it's professional though, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Wow.
I'm still going to beat my kids no matter what. They can say they win, but.
The last one I got for you, Sandy, I always ask this question. We know what you do. 30 years deep. She is the president, and she is the regional president of BNI. Mm-hmm. We know what you do. We see you out here doing it. Thank you, ma'am. But who do you do it for?
I do it for is, obviously we need to make a living to provide for those that we love. So I do it clearly for that. But I think I do it partly for me, because it just continually fills my cup. I feel like I'm good at it, and to do something that you feel like you were meant to do and you're good at it, I think that's a gift that you're able to do that. And then I think for my members, being able to play even just a minor role in watching and getting to learn about their successes through BNI, and some of them have gotten married. They met their spouse in a BNI chapter. I've had some that have, started a business and struggled and joined BNI and watched it grow and sold it. And now they're retired. So many amazing different types of success stories. So it not only fills my cup, but it's amazing to be part of something that you get to see this ripple effect that something that you do can have on so many other people.
Sandy, you remember we had a wedding in our BNI meeting at Dollars and Cents where two members had their ceremony in the BNI meeting.
That's
true.
Yeah, I was there.
Yep, that's right, John.
Yes.
That's correct.
Wow. Yep, I remember that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, BNI, elevate your business. You might find love. You never know. This is a great connection. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you so much, always, Mr. Larry Neese. We are live at the Neese Media studio. Till next time, it's your boy Wydoe. Go check out BNI and all the great things that they do. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.